So, Mike, how did you get involved with There Is a Monster?
Um, well, I've been a commercial producer and then director of commercials for a long time, um, and during particularly during the pandemic, I was making a lot of short films that had a bunch of downtime. Um, and after oops, did I lose you?
Oh, no.
Okay, hello,
Yeah.
there we are. Okay, and then I just after I made a number of short films, and they got three of them got into multiple festivals, so that was great. I just thought, okay, what's next? And so my commercial business has sort of dropped off because of the pandemic, and I just decided, well, I'll make a feature film, and it just sort of popped in my head, and that's what I did.
And how did the casting process for There Is a Monster all come about? Because you really got to nail the male lead for this to be convincing, and he did a very good job in his part. So, how did the casting process all come about?
Well, I knew that I decided at the beginning that I had to have good actors, and so I signed a SAG contract. We shot this under the SAG ultra low budget contract, um, and I had a hard time finding my lead. I did. Um, I tracked down Joey eventually because I shot in the D.C. area. I shot in Alexandria, Virginia, Northern Virginia area, and I was looking for local actors. And I've just looked. I went on Backstage.com for a lot of my a lot of my casting, looking for people and things like that. Um, and I found Joey. I tracked him down. He was in New York. I think he was finishing up a play up there, and we met, and he agreed to do it. And I thought he did a great job.
Right. And how did the visual effects or the practical effects, whatever you used for the monster in There Is a Monster,
Mhm.
how was it like creating and capturing that presence in the film?
Well, it was. I had talked to some. In my career, I produced some films with VFX or commercial VFX in them. So I wasn't like I had some knowledge of that. I talked to a local effects artist about how to do it. Originally, I was thinking I was going to shoot a body, a human in a suit, and then augment that because I thought that was easiest as opposed to creating and trying to animate everything. So we decided on a black suit instead of a green suit. So I put Laurent Zalig in this black suit, and then I hired Kazu Sanu out of Los Angeles agreed to help me out. So what we did was just sort of for all the close-ups and things like that, he augmented that. You know what I mean? So we gave
Oh,
it
wow.
a little bit of a different look, and that way we didn't have to create a 3D model and make it move or anything like that. So we had a real person in the suit, and then we just altered and modified that suit, that look.
And when you were doing the filming locations, how was that process like finding the right places to build that studio that main actor used or where the film took most of its place? How was the filming location process for There Is a Monster?
Well, some of it was really easy, and some of it was difficult. As the restaurant was a restaurant we used for a couple different scenes, and I had frequented that restaurant many years ago, and they still knew me, so that was fairly easy. Um, the photo studio, I had a hard time finding that. I finally found a photo studio that was willing. He was slow that week because we shot during December of 2021. And so he offered, we worked out a deal so I could rent his photo studio for 4 days and shot there. Um, the doctor's office, really interesting. I was looking for this location. I found the owner of this medical building, and she had some offices she was leasing out of the medical building. And as we got to talking, besides letting me shoot there, she ended up being an investor in the film. So that was kind of nice.
Oh, wow.
And then now the house where we shot, that was insane because I had a realtor friend helping me find a house. I figured I'd find an Airbnb or something like that and rent it and use it. But we found one house that we thought we could get, and then it dropped out. And then I found an Airbnb that would work and hard to get to, but it would work. And I'm talking to the owner, and he gets a notice on his phone as we're talking, looking at the place. He forgot to take it off of Airbnb, so it rented. So I couldn't use that. So I was sort of desperate, and my realtor friend put a notice on Facebook, and this gentleman, Tom Jacoby out in McLean, Virginia, offered up his house, and it was perfect because it was actually a huge house, but when you looked at it from certain angles, it looked like just a nice, modest, nice house. So that's how I found all the locations.
And you said you filmed this in December 2021, so this has been a long journey for There Is a Monster to come out. What
Right.
has been some major uplifting news or any setbacks you guys might have gotten throughout releasing There Is a Monster that you can discuss?
Well, on the reason it took so long, I can talk about that. Was I had my effects person. I'd hired an effects person, and then he sort of disappeared on me. And then I hired another effects person, and he sort of did a halfway job. And then my first effects person came back and explained what happened to him, and that was around December of 2022. I was desperately trying to find someone to make this thing. We don't show the monster very much, but still, what you do see, I wanted someone to make it look like something, and that took a long time. So that was a bit of a setback, but it got done, so that's great. The happy side is, I think, after we made it, the fact the reception that we got. I had 8 offers for this movie, and and we went with Gravitas Ventures, and I'm happy about that. So that's a real positive, I think.
And how has it been like working with Gravitas? Because they put out a lot of independent stuff and really seem to have a keen eye for independent films and independent filmmakers as well.
They've been great. I mean, they're big. I mean, I don't know if they're a big company. They do put out a lot of films, but they've been really great with me. They always get back to me. They answer my questions. They sort of chart things along. They've guided me quite a bit. So I've been very happy with them so far. They got my film on 20 platforms.
Oh wow.
So I mean, I'm on all the big. I'm on Apple TV, Vudu, Prime Video, Google Play. It's that's been fantastic.
And how would you describe There Is a Monster to people that have not seen it or would like to see it? How would you describe it to them?
Well, apart from the log line that I use, which is a man is haunted and hunted by a monster that only he can see. I think I think it tells it's interesting in that I put this under sort of a horror umbrella, but at the same time, I'm telling a very serious story. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
I think the film tells it's an entertaining story. You don't get bored. It's the film's an hour and 22 minutes long. Um, and I think I tell the story from beginning to end, and I think at the end is really where it gets you. So without talking and giving away the ending,
right.
I think so. I think it's a film that is entertaining. At the same time, it has a more serious purpose, I think.
And Mike, what is next for you if you can discuss your future projects?
Well, this launches on the 30th of January on all platforms, and I'm promising myself on the very next day to start working on my next film. So I have a script I wrote about, gosh, maybe 6 years ago that I'm rewriting. I'm changing my protagonist from a 42-year-old male to a 28-year-old female, and changing the story up. So I'm working on that, and my hope is to start shooting that this summer. So that's kind of where I'm at. I want to. This is my first feature, and I've sort of got the bug now. I think
Right.
if you talked to me 3 years ago, I would have said I'm a commercial TV director. I direct TV commercials. Now I say I'm a filmmaker. I'm making movies. And that feels better to me somehow. I feel like I finally ended up where I should be, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it does.
And so my plan is to make at least 3 films, if not more. So I want to shoot another one, like I said, this year, and then we'll see I've got one concept in my back pocket that I haven't written the screenplay for, but I'm really excited to take it. It's actually a modernization of a story by Nathaniel Hawthorne. So looking forward to that.
Well, Mike, thank you so much for joining us at Infamous Horror today. It's been real fun, and congratulations on There Is a Monster.
Thank you very much, AJ. I really appreciate it. Thanks for your time. Okay.
Anytime, Mike. Have a great week.